we're both trying our best, I suppose, to get something the best we can, and at some point we may fail. More likely than not to fail, but
ready? You never responded. Are you ready?
Oh yes. I thought that was okay. Ready? Like you're ready, and then I'm going. I didn't want to step on your first line by going.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. No, you get.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the Deadzone Podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop miniature skirmish game from Mantic Games. And now, here are your hosts Rob Harper and Jack Pike. I am your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen.
Welcome to the 83rd episode of Deadzone the Podcast for late April 2018. In this episode, we catch up on all that news and have a beginner's guide to Deadzone. As always, you can go to deadzonegame.podbean.com to see all the pictures, or you can go to youtube.com/c/Deadzone the Podcast for the video version of this show. And now on to the episode. Hello everybody, welcome to Deadzone the Podcast. This is episode 83 for late April 2018. I'm Rob.
And I'm Jack.
And we're here with another episode to catch up on all the news that we've been missing since Adepticon. And the last episode was all about Adepticon. Last two episodes, actually. So this one's a straight up news. We got some news for you people.
No news.
Should we get right into it?
I don't see why not.
First bit of news is that the last of the Warpath vehicles are coming soon to Kickstarter backers and then retail. We were assured many times at Adepticon this was happening, and we hope it's true. We haven't got them yet, but the rumors are that the last of the Warpath is finally ending. Our long Warpath nightmare is finally over. And there's they did post some cool pictures of some of those vehicles. The Hornet, all nicely painted up. And as you said, it has hazard symbols on its ailerons for some reason.
Because it's dangerous there, that's why.
Not on the giant fans, where they could rip up a person, but on the flappy bits at the back.
Yeah, I suppose if you're do not stand stickers are just not visible. Yeah,
that's what they need. And they also have a similarly painted mule, and looking good,
looking grimdark. Mantic has made a shift way closer to our playground, the carnival that is our minds, from where they started out in the color schemes and the way things. And I don't know, at this pace, it might get to where even we have to recoil in horror at the darkness.
Yes, it's true. It is grimdark. Well, it's not grimdark. It's not, when you say grimdark, people associate that with 40K. Yeah, but it's, I'd say it's just like dark and gritty, like our aesthetic. It's a slightly different thing, I would think.
Yeah, I meant lived in, and grimdark. I was referring to, say, the DC universal universe, like a Nolanized, where it's they've taken something cartoony and brought it to a lived-in real world. I didn't understand the connotation that 40K has a. Is that something that they cherish? Or?
Yeah, that's how people describe 40K. So,
all those people can all jump off a bridge. I hate them all, each and every one.
And just in, we have a special guest Skyping in.
Oh no, who could it be?
This is like on the fly, people. This never happens. I don't know if this button's going to work. It might just end everything.
Oh God.
Hello?
Hello.
Jack, are you still there?
I am still here.
Yay, everybody's here. Yes, everybody. We're actually recording the podcast right now, Pat. So say hi to everyone. This is Community Pat, everybody. He's joining us live.
Hi, I'm running a little bit late, or else I would have been here from the very beginning.
We literally just talked about the fact that the Warpath vehicles are coming soon to Kickstarter backers in retail, and we talked about the cool pictures. So that's all you've missed so far. You haven't missed much.
All right.
And you can
give us how cool the Hornet is?
Yes, and how cool Hornets are. And I was just going to say that you can give us some insight, because some of the stuff has changed from hard plastic to PVC, and they said just to ensure they capture the detail required, or it's too hard to produce in hard plastic, some of the bits. But on the Mule, it's the tires and the mounted weapons. On the Hornet, it's the weapon options. On the Cheer and the Chroma, it's the weapon options and part of the cockpit, compact, and interior stabilizing fins. Plague Mule is corpses, weapons, and spiky bits. And Plague Hornets is corpses, weapons, and spiky bits.
Yeah.
I haven't played with any of the corpses, weapons, or spiky bits, but I never even noticed the other bits were not hard plastic, really. There was slight change, I guess, but like when you think of PVC, you think of more rubbery stuff. This is still hard PVC. It's not like...
Yeah, it's the harder rustic stuff that we use, and I kind of felt it when I was putting the barrels in on the rotary cannon thingy weapon option. And the little rifle things that you mount inside the cargo pod, those didn't feel right when I put plastic glue on it.
Oh yeah, plastic glue wouldn't work with the PVC, right?
No.
I always use, right now I'm using Gorilla Glue, but it's failed me quite a bit lately. But I never use plastic glue, so I never ran into that issue. It just doesn't set, right? Like if it just stays wet.
Yeah, it doesn't make the bond. For those that are not chemically inclined or deep hobby modelists, what plastic cement does is it literally melts the plastic, and then when it dries, it is literally made a plastic weld. That's why I always advocate for plastic glue when you're building models. It's just a better bond, and they stay together better.
Yeah, because it pretty much just makes one piece of plastic by the end.
Yeah.
But don't screw up, because you're never pulling those things apart.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Jack, have you ever used plastic glue?
I have. I think because testers used to be plastic glue, right?
Testers is plastic glue.
So I used a considerable amount of that, but on metals. So I probably did everything ass backwards.
I don't know if you can use it on metal.
That's why nothing ever stuck together.
I'm a bold innovator because I use testers glue on metal miniatures for D&D.
Oh, there might be different types of testers.
Oh, maybe.
Because it says actually testers plastic glue on there. So I'm sure if you're doing metal miniatures, you weren't using the plastic glue.
Maybe. I was sniffing it, so.
Maybe it was liquid metal. Liquid solder.
Oh, I was going to say like a Terminator?
I mean, Jack could probably back me up on this, but one of the things you could used to do with your old D&D miniatures, if they broke or everything, is you can get the liquid solder and put your D&D miniatures back together that way.
Well, aren't you fancy? Jack was using plastic glue on them.
Yeah, don't rely on me to be a expert or back you up on anything, because I've been doing things wrong for nigh on 40 years.
You could have upsold it, Jack. You could have just said, "Yeah, it was the greatest thing ever," and then we could have moved on.
No.
He has to be truthful with the people.
Any woman that's ever spent any time with me, I'm always wrong, and so I might as well just air my dirty laundry before it turns into a thing 6 months later.
It's not just women. I think you're always wrong too, Jack.
Well, we've always questioned.
Oh, ouch. Anyways, the GCPS armies are also on sale for the, I guess they're Warpath armies technically, because there's quite a bit you get in here. There's a starter army for 60 pounds or $90. Comes with a Strider, a Mule, 4 weapons teams, and a crap ton of Marines, because you can make the Marines into any of the 3 types.
Actually, that's the Deadzone faction booster.
Is that Deadzone?
That's the Deadzone faction booster.
Because it comes with a Mule though.
Yeah, but it's all heavy weapons teams, isn't it?
Well, it's a Strider, a Mule, 4 heavy weapons teams.
That's the faction. That's the faction booster.
And a leader. Comes with a leader.
That's the faction booster.
Well, on the Mantic website, they call it the GCPS Army Starter Box. Because I got this right off the website.
I swear to God, that's what it became in the starter when we had it at Adepticon.
Yeah, but it doesn't come with a Mule. That's a difference. The Mule is the Warpath vehicle. And then they have the Mega Box, which is 100 pounds or 140 US, and that comes with the Hornet and 2 Striders and a bunch more guys, but other than that, pretty similar. So for another $40, you get a Strider and a Hornet, so that's not bad. and like twice the amount of guys too. So if you ever want,
really good.
Yeah, if you ever want GCPS guys, these are the ways to go. Because once again, it'll give you all the options to do them in Deadzone too, if you really care. Or you can buy these booster sets that Pat gets, magic booster sets.
No, they're there. You're right. It didn't come with the mule.
Yes.
But it's almost exactly the same thing except for a mule.
See, I'd rather have the mule. Even if you're not going to use it in Deadzone, it's an awesome vehicle. Especially for, what was it, $90? You're getting a Strider and a mule plus a bunch of guys. That's a pretty good price.
That's a really good price, actually.
And while supplies last, they have the Starfall campaign book for Firefight that you get for free if you order one of the GCPS miniatures. I think it's actually if you order anything, but they're really pushing the GCPS guys. So it's a neat little booklet. It's a campaign supplement for Warpath. And I like to see this kind of stuff, more of this. So please, more of that. Starfall, have you got your hands on that yet, Pat, to check it out, see what it's like?
I have not, actually.
The English are keeping it to themselves?
I think so.
They would. Also, speaking of the English, at Spring Mantic Open Day, which is coming up, I think, soon, they get a 3-up model that you were using for the trophies. They get it in for going. That's guys.
Yeah.
It's a cool, it's the 3-up of Howlett doing his Wolverine stance, his 3-point stance. And we've shown it last episode because it was the trophy for all the Warpath tournaments and Deadzone tournament at Adepticon. But it is a sweet, sweet looking thing.
But just know that if you won one at Adepticon, you got it first. And you got it for the reasons it was made.
And also, you got it hand painted by Pat himself, probably hours before.
Yeah, you don't know the half of it.
That's actually very true.
They do know if they grabbed it instead of by the base, but by the statue itself, they would know immediately.
Oh, fun times that was.
It's always Adepticon. It's right down to the wire, that place. Also, Mantic's been putting out little information things. This one they put out was on the Survivor. It's just a picture of him with little, like factoid. And that's another cool thing, throwing out just information that's, I don't know if it's in the book anymore, because this is like, I think it's in the old book, this seems like new information though, with the Survivor. And it's just an excerpt from the Mercs manual that was released about a month and a half ago. Has all the Mercs, Jack,
all the.
You're living in a Mandela-like world where it was an alternate reality. The Mandela effect has got to you. That never happened.
Oh no! Is this the Cronenberg universe? Do I have to check my body for lesions?
Mandela.
This is the darkest of timelines.
I do have a goatee.
Oh, you're evil, Jack.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of tournaments to talk about too. We like to highlight some upcoming tournaments. So if you have a tournament, please contact us either on Facebook or email us at deadzonepodcast@gmail.com. The first one is the Mariana Station Epsilon Deadzone tournament, and that's hosted by Andrew Sharp, from the famous Sharps, Rules Committee Sharp.
The famous Sharps.
The famous Sharps from
the Sharps from East Hampton, England,
on the river. Yeah.
It's on Sunday, July 1st at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it's at Element Games Northwest Gaming Center in Stockport. Well,
in Hogwarts?
In Hogwarts, which is also known as Stockport. So if you happen to be in Stockport or nearby, which you're in England, everything's nearby. Believe me, I drove from one end to the other and it took like 4 hours. So people don't bitch about things.
I fell asleep and I was halfway through England.
Yep. So go to this if you're around. Support local tournaments, and by local I mean within your own country.
Yes, go to it, you English people.
You English people.
Well, I mean, I guess Irish people go too if they wanted to.
That's true. Or Welsh even. Not the Scottish though. They don't want the Scottish.
Yeah, you and your famously your hatred of the Northerners is palatable.
I am a Northerner.
Oh. And you hate those people from Essex.
Essex? Is that a TV show? I think it is in England. Like one of those really bad, like Jersey Shore things.
Oh.
They have a Jersey Shore in England?
Well, they have the Geordie Shore, which was in Newcastle. And when I went to Newcastle, everybody warned me that it was going to be like that. It was actually very nice. So it wasn't as bad as that. But I digress. Go to Stockport. Go to this tournament on July 1st. Another tournament upcoming is from our good friend Rick Hall. He's in Michigan, in Lansing, Michigan. He's doing the Blaine Acquisition Tournament. And it's on Sunday, April 29th. So it's coming up quick, people. You have to get to this one if you're in Michigan. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it's at Evolution Games. All the information will be in the show notes about how to, we'll give the Facebook groups, plus it'll have all the particulars of how to contact these people. So yes, Rick Hall, great guy, and he runs a fine ship over there in Michigan. So it's a hotbed of Dead Zone activity.
It's on the 28th?
29th.
Sunday.
Yep, Sunday. Sunday.
Weird.
He's a weird guy, what can I say?
But he's a nice guy.
Well, he's our kind of weird.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. He's one of us.
And the last tournament to talk about is the Pit Dead Zone Tournament, Desolation 1, hosted by Ben Edwards, our man from England who does he did some voice work for us, and he also does the Battlescribe files, which is great. Keeps everything up to date. That's on Saturday, May 19th, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Well End Scout Activity Center in Borehamwood. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's in Borehamwood. And once again, we'll have all the information on how to contact these ones. Ben's been doing that pit tournament. It's still going on. So this is the end of it. They do a big blow off at the end of his league. It's going to be this tournament. So go check that out if you're in Borehamwood. I have no idea where Borehamwood is, but I assume it's near London because everything's near London.
How do you spell it?
Boreham Wood.
H-E-M?
H-A-M. Sorry, I couldn't understand my accent. Or I said E, one of the two.
Borehamwood.
Well, isn't that, yeah, I was going to say, isn't that Boreham? Isn't that like saying pigwood?
Pig. It is on the outsides of London.
I know my locations. I'm just playing you. It's a good guess. Also, we have tons of Hellboy news, but it's so much that it's got its own little show now. So we do have on the same feed as this, if you want iTunes or also in the on the website, is the Hellboy Minute. We have talked a lot. Jack and I were on the last one. Actually, I think the one before last, because there's another one coming up that I'm going to record before this comes out, I believe, because there's been so much news about Hellboy. They keep throwing stuff out every time I go to record it. They put more information out. So.
Yes, the big news being I was a guest host on one of the Hellboy Minutes.
Yep.
And I think I did a service, and I hope that one day I'll be recognized for that valiant effort I put in.
Pat, you got a loud enough keyboard? It's usually me.
No, that's my secretary. Keep it down there, Betty.
Well, as Jack...
She's just emailing you about a raccoon that's at the door.
Yeah, please. Yeah, she's emailing exterminators how I was threatened by a raccoon.
So while Pat goes and deals with Betty...
And get me a cup of coffee.
We'll take a short break. We'll be back to talk about something else, I'm sure.
I'm Mark.
I'm Rob.
And we're from Countercharge. Yeah, Countercharge. It's all about Kings of War. But, when we need to talk about Deadzone, we flip around the podcast dial, and for some reason we keep coming back to Deadzone the Podcast with Rob and Jack.
Or Bob and Jake.
And welcome back to Deadzone the Podcast. We have Rob and Jack here.
Podcast. You're from Chicago.
Yeah, it's the podcast,
Yep. Yes, we're back, and we have something to talk about. We have a main topic we're going to discuss this week. It was suggested to us by a new listener, and that's to some tips on getting started into Deadzone. And this is a perfect time to have Pat on because he can give us tips. So this is going to be all you, Pat. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
So, getting into Deadzone, it's I think it's pretty easy, but let's go through it. I guess the first thing you have to do is buy something.
Yeah, well, I guess my tip for that would be if you were getting into Deadzone by yourself, I think starting off with the hardcover rulebook at first, figuring out what faction you want to play, and going from there. But if you were getting into with a friend, then definitely the starter box set is the way to go.
Yeah, you get the terrain and stuff. Not like you
get the terrain and stuff.
You can. I'm sure. If you don't have terrain already, you can always buy extra terrain.
Yeah,
but it's good to start with some terrain, or you just do like with the old school and just use books and
books,
shoe boxes,
and a glass.
But the 3" by 3" is vital. It's almost another player in the game, so it's not like you just grab any old thing like your Nan's old urn and a piece of a cheese wheel or something. You have to. It has to be 3 by 3 to really get Deadzone.
It's true to get the terrain.
Yeah,
but I only suggest for a guy getting into it by himself. From not buying the starter set only because you get stuck with you could possibly get stuck with two factions that you don't want. Yeah,
the current starter set has what? Dwarves and Enforcers?
Dwarves and Enforcers, yes. Forgefathers and Enforcers.
Yeah, which is it is a strange... I like the old one with the Plague and Enforcers. I think that's a better starter, but... Because I find that the Forgefathers and Enforcers very similar lists, similar armies.
Yeah.
So, but...
I mean, that being said, it's still a good deal to buy the starter set.
Oh, yeah, because you get the books, you get the terrain, you get a bunch of models.
Yeah.
Even if you want to sell one of those starters from the box set on eBay or something, make your money so you can buy the starter or booster. That's the thing that Mantic offers is starter and booster sets for every faction. And the prices are so slim, I would buy both. Whatever faction you decide on, buy them both because you'll want miniatures from both things to fill out your force. I think that's a good tip. Once you figure out who you want to play, definitely buy both the starter and the booster.
Yeah, which is a nice segue into the next part of the topic.
Yes, the what to build for your teams.
Yeah,
because list building is interesting in Deadzone, I'd say the least. It's very important once you get into like serious games. But I think you can pretty much build anything and still have a good game with it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Once you learn your play style and see what you like, then that's the kind of thing that organically you get into and you start figuring out that kind of thing. But
sure.
I remember when we first started playing and I started painting, and I did not follow this particular... this nugget of wisdom, and I painted all manner of stuff. And then when I wanted to make a list, I was like, I didn't build or paint any of this stuff that I want to use. I painted all the showboat pieces first. So I really knuckle down, make yourself a list, build that. It's a good start. That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah, listen to Team Building Exercise. That's our other show on this channel. And that'll give you at the very least, you can just take one of the lists we built and build that with the miniatures you have. Go to the correct episode with the right army and try that out first. And you'll find quite quickly that as you play, you'll be like, oh, I didn't like that, or oh, that didn't work for my play style. What can I replace that with? And that's why I find every time I play, I'm like, oh, I didn't like that model, or I didn't like how that one played out. I'm going to throw something else in there instead. I think that's a lot of the moving forward in Deadzone. That's how you do it. And that's why it's good to get the booster and starter, so you don't have to, I want to use this miniature. Now I got to wait for it to be shipped, or I have to go to my hobby store and buy it. You already have it. Unless it's something you need multiples of from either of those, but you can always pick that off eBay or trades and things like that. That's another good thing. If you go to Mantic Mantic Buy and Sell or something on Facebook? I think it's something like that. It's a good place if you could just type in, I need this, and someone will have extras, because you always end up, if you go on the Kickstarters, you always end up with extra miniatures. And you could trade it up, find someone in your area so it's not too expensive on shipping, and get everything shipped to you. And, so then, terrain. Terrain is, we talked about a little bit, but, you guys think you have to pretty much, I know Pat's answered this, you have to buy battle zones, but, or terrain crate as it's now called. But pretty much, right? You're saying too, Jack, with the 3-inch squares,
you've got no choice. Even to learn, get yourself some 3-inch foam, cut it into, the terrain is the third player in the game.
We use non-mantic terrain all the time, but you think that's an advanced step?
Yeah, oh yeah, because eventually then you're looking down, you're kind of looking at the grid on and there's a lot of, honor amongst thieves in that respect, where it's like, hey, what do you think? Oh, this is about, that's no way to learn the game.
That's no way to learn the game. Yeah, Terrain Crate is, as it's now called, used to be called Battle Zones. And they're rebranding everything now, right, Pat, for all those ones?
Yeah, everything will be Terrain Crate. We're repackaging the different box sets and everything. So I think as far as getting into it, what you get in the box, and then maybe a supplement box, like a sector, I think they're called, will get you started. But one thing I will say, if you're building Terrain Crate or Battle Zones, if you remember it, is it's always fun to want to build a giant piece of scenery.
Jack.
But then you're stuck with that one big piece of scenery all the time.
Guilty.
So usually what I would suggest is building cubes of like 1 by 2 or 2 by 3.
Or L's. Smaller size stuff, yeah.
You can still make a bigger piece of building by stacking them. But now you have the option of modularing. Is that a word, modularing?
Yes.
It
is.
Did I verb a noun?
Well, that's all that matters.
When you conjugate verbs, modular does become modularing, I believe.
Okay. That sounded very good with the word conjugating in it.
I believe them.
But then you have the versatility of changing your board every time you play, so you're not stuck with the giant building every time you play.
Yes, we learned that the hard way by doing that. And we soon realized, going smaller is better. You can go really small and make almost looks like a paintball field, which is fine for tournaments or fine if you want to play the game, but we like it a little bit more realistic, so we always make our buildings look real. But it's all up to your aesthetic choice, but definitely go smaller. That is the way to go. Because, like you say, you can stack, you can move stuff around. Keep it within the cubes, obviously. You can't make it outside. Don't stack things in weird ways that it's outside of the cube, but not any angles. Like, there is angular pieces in Terrain Crate, but they keep to the inside the square, so it'll cut a corner, but it'll stay in the square, which is important. Like Jack said, that's the game. 3-inch cubes is the game, so. And then another thing is the mats. Mantic offers, do they still sell those mats, Pat?
I think so, yeah.
They have a reddish Mars one and the original Cityscape kind of grayish one. But now there's places like Mats by Mars that sell gridded maps, and so do in England that other one, GameMat.eu, I believe, sells gridded mats now.
Yeah, I think pretty much every place they can make a map,
they'll throw
or mat. They can throw a grid on it.
Yep, the 3-inch by 3-inch grids is, as we say, is very important.
It just has to be a 3 by 3 grid.
And I just recently bought from Anarchy Stencils, I think they're called. I bought a stencil that lets me put a 3 by 3 grid on. It's made for Deadzone, and you can put it on any piece of terrain or any mat. So you get a piece of wood, you get that stencil,
It's an airbrush stencil.
Yeah, airbrush stencil. Well, I guess you could use it. You could dab, probably paint with it too. You wouldn't necessarily need an airbrush, but it's built for an airbrush. But I have some old. They're like plastic 3x3. I think it's 3x3 or 4x4 foot grids that are just plastic. They don't have any grids on it, but it's like terrain. Like I don't know what they call them, but it's something I want to put the grid on so we can use that for Deadzone as a base. So yes, anything that you can put that has 3x3 grids on, you're good to go. But it's always good to get one that's pre-made, and they're super cheap. Like the mousepad ones are a little bit more expensive, but Mats by Mars ones for like $20, you can get any cool design you want. And once again, if you buy the box set, it comes with I think it's paper one in that box set, isn't it, Pat?
Yes.
Yeah. Which, yeah. You can always print it out yourself, too, if you have a way of printing larger papers, too. Because it's 2 foot by 2 foot is a regular Deadzone mat, right?
Yeah, it's 8 3x3 cubes, so that's 24 by 24, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Mats is, that's an easy thing, because you can pretty much get them, like you say, anywhere that makes a mat. And then, next question is what to start playing? There's, missions, scenarios, campaigns. There is quite a few books right now, and once June comes, we'll have a new book. That'll be the one to get if you haven't gotten a book yet. That's going to have everything in it. But we also have the Nexus Psi book. We have the Incursion book. Those are all scenarios and campaigns. Do either of you suggest either of those right off the bat, or just keep it simple?
Yeah, keep it simple in the beginning when you're learning how to play. Just play a couple of the missions through the book. I think the variety of missions will also temper your list building skills too, because sometimes a straight up kill everyone mission is easier to plan for than say a breakthrough mission. Yeah,
you have to plan for your missions. We like to get our list and then decide how we're playing, so you don't get to plan ahead. It's just, okay, this is what I'm bringing. Okay, what are we going to play now? So it's still random that way. But what about Jack? Do you think missions or just one-off games? What do you think?
Yeah. When you're learning, keep the points low. I know 200 is apparently the sweet spot, but
I disagree with 200.
Yeah, for just starting out, 200 allows too much spam, too much of the big. Just the way it works, where you get a specialist to every troop, which is pretty weird in itself. But keep it low, 100, 150. Just learn to move the models, learn what you're doing with them and stuff, and you can. There's room to grow.
Yeah, 100 will let you learn the flow of the game fairly quick and fairly fast.
And it would only be like a regular game at 100, once you know what you're doing, it's probably half an hour game. Like, it's pretty quick. And I think even if you're just starting out, once you get a few turns in, it becomes second nature. The only thing you really want to do is to get almost like a cheat sheet. Jack, you and I have been planning on doing this forever, to make it just cheat sheet. We should probably finally do it to put it out so that people can have that so the little things that are little stepping stones that help you along. Like, there's always questions about frag and stuff. You have to keep flipping through the book. It'd be nice to have that all on one page for people.
Yeah. Last year at Adepticon, it was more so. This year, a lot less people were just as new. There was a lot less questions that I was asked, probably because I was at the losing end of the tables. So, no one thought that guy doesn't know what he's doing anyways. Maybe that's the...
Yeah, but even the people you're playing at that end knew what they were doing enough, even if they weren't competitive, right?
That's true.
I think it's just a year and a half now since the new version, about that, right? Or 2 years maybe now?
Yeah, I think we're close to 2.
That people have pretty much got it down, and the FAQs, once they're all in one book, that was the only place where the questions come up. It's like, oh, what about this? Oh no, that was in the FAQ. It's like, oh, I have to look at that now too. Once like I say, come June, it's all in one book. You don't have to worry about trying to find the FAQ online and seeing, okay, where does this matter? What is this now? That's the only tripping blocks right now. But I think, generally pretty simple. especially if you're playing basic stuff. Once you get into like more complex strategies or more complex builds, and in certain races too, I guess are a bit more complex, but generally I would go for the aesthetics for the races and then worry about how to play them after that.
Yeah.
And
I think campaigns are great once you have a big enough group. But you have to have a big enough group to do campaigns.
yeah, Jack and I are just us, so we've never tried a campaign because there's no point. You're only going to be playing the same people over and over again. But that's great if you have, like 8 or 9, 10 people playing. That's what Rick Hall does really well. And Ben Edwards in England. Those guys are experts at doing these campaigns because they have enough guys to start getting those together. That is the key. Find a group. Be lucky enough to be in an area that plays the game, but if not, start playing it and people will come to you because that's what you need to get. You want variety.
Yes, take heed from that movie, Build It and They Will Come. I think that was Waterworld.
That famous quote from Waterworld.
Oh, God.
So after you get your basics down, you start building your teams. Where do you think people should go from there about filling out their forces, building new lists, trying different lists? What do you think or trying different factions even? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you start to once you get the faction that you started learning with and you got that down, then move to the next faction. Move to your second favorite.
Yeah, that Pat, you and I are on the same wavelength there. Once you've played your group that you've built and the game's fun, you're enjoying yourself, but you're in a rut at that point, and you're going to want to switch it up. So to have a second group that you like, your friends will appreciate you not coming with the Marauders, same list every game.
Pat.
It's going to be nice that you're going to be able to go, hey, I'm going to switch over to these guys and their play style. And for everyone else playing me, it's going to be a nice change up. So that would be start into a second faction, a second strike team on the go so that you can whip it out whenever you need to.
And I think, the price point of Mantic models, that's what allows you to do this. For another, $100, you can get a whole new faction. Build that up, have fun. Because I do find in Deadzone, there are only, 10 different models for each faction, pretty much. Like, maybe more, maybe less, but you kind of build what you have pretty quick, and you kind of fill out the hobby end pretty quick. So it's always good to get another faction in there to start a new hobby. And there's always choices like head swaps or weapon swaps and things like that to make it more interesting on the hobby end. Because maybe it's just from the people who have way too many of each faction that you do get kind of like Jack said, in a rut where you're like, okay, I've done about 20 of these enforcers. Let's try to do something. I've done like 5 different color schemes. Let's go to a different faction and try something totally different. And not to mention, once you start playing them, the actual play styles between the factions are so different that you're like, oh, this is refreshing. I get to do some hand-to-hand combat, or I get to shoot, or throw some grenades or something.
Yeah. I think also, in another direction, you can even start hit the local tournaments.
Or even big tournaments, like Decepticon.
Move in and orbit to the bigger tournaments. And try out other plays like that. See how other people play. There's just so much you could do to expand yourself once you are familiar with what you're doing by starting a new faction, going to local tournaments, going to the bigger tournaments.
Actually, that's even going to a coaches tournament last summer. All of a sudden, I'm playing all these different people. I'm like, oh, this is different meta. Like, this is how they play. And you see like different angles to things a little bit. And you do get a different perspective on how to play certain factions and what it means to be cutthroat and what it means to keep rolling 8s way too many times.
That's not me.
Well, you were the cutthroat one, but
How was I the cutthroat one?
No, you just had a good list. That was just you kicked butt with that list.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think in the end though, we can all agree. Don't expand into Firefight and Warpath. Don't bother, because Deadzone for life, people.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. I like Warpath.
You would. No. But it's, that is the Like, we personally don't think you have to, but if you do want to start building up bigger teams and getting those vehicles in there, that is the way to go. Firefight Warpath, and the Warpath supplement comes in one nice book, or like a set. I think you could still get that set. And that is one of the best sets for a game I've seen in a long time, because you get all the rules and that source book, which is amazing.
Well, I mean, I think what we've done with the Warpath universe is pretty snazzy. So even if you don't wish to upgrade from Deadzone, then you don't have to. But if you do, all the money you spent on Deadzone does not go to waste, because basically Deadzone faction is a team, roughly a team in Firefight.
Yeah, you're just moving up multiple models. And we did kind of miss a beat saying that right at the beginning, that you can even get into Deadzone by starting with Star Saga, because you start with Star Saga, you're getting my miniatures painted. There's going to be the Maison Corporation, which comes in that Star Saga box set. It's going to be a faction in Deadzone, so you could get right in from there. Plus
that's true.
All the Mercs, like Jack said, that Mercs book, that's, oh wait, that was the other reality. Sorry, I keep forgetting. But yeah, Star Saga, because that's the beauty of it. You go from Deadzone, Star Saga, Dreadball, I almost said Dreadpath Zone, Warpath, it's all the same universe, so it's also nice to have all the fluff connected. So you're like, oh, I'm playing the Tree Sharks in Dreadball. Oh, those are Yindish. What's a Yindish? Oh, that's part of the Reb faction, so you can start playing Rebs, or same idea. I think that covers it pretty good, guys. Anything else we can think about starting Deadzone other than just to get to it?
No, I think that's a very nice bullet point way to, we took each thing, we expanded on it a bit, and I think we're all pretty much on the same page that it's not that hard. It's a couple hundred, for between two guys to really just be involved right off the hop. Like just do it.
Yeah. And it's such an easy and fun game, and it's the strategy, it comes in, and the list building comes in to where it gets a little more complex, but to just put some miniatures on the board and start rolling some D8s, it's really easy and really fun. And so anybody who's listening to this probably already plays Deadzone, but if you have friends who don't play, let them hear this segment and they can get them into the Deadzone, because we want more people in. Join us.
One of us.
We'll be right back after we chant to our god Deadzone.
Hello, this is Martin. Fashion, t-shirts, mugs. Deadzone, the podcast.
Hi, this is Ronnie. Get on down and listen to the Deadzone podcast. It's amazing.
And welcome back to the Deadzone podcast with our special guest, Community Pat, who has graced us with his light and his, we kneel at the altar of Community Pat. He is one of a kind, and we love him. And Rob's here too. So what's next?
Yes, Community Pat, have you dealt with your raccoon problem?
I have. He's across the street. He's throwing up raccoon gang signs, and I literally think he made a gun gesture with his hand and was like, "Pow, pow! I see you."
Oh, that's very threatening.
Yeah, he's bad seed.
Speaking of bad seeds, thank you to our Patreon backers. We do have some new ones. We have Shane Sipe, who we've met at Adepticon. Great guy. Jack talked to him for long periods of time.
Yes, I did. He's a swell person.
Swell. So he's a new Patreon backer. Thank you, Shane. And we also have Jordan Carasa.
Carasa, I think.
Yeah, and he just discovered Deadzone, and he decided to listen to our podcast, which is crazy. But he also decided to back us on Patreon. So thank you very much, Jordan.
Good job, Jordan.
Yep. We're fans of you as much as you're fans of us.
Regardless of what they say, you made a good choice in listening to Deadzone the Podcast.
Oh, thanks. And if this was a year ago when I was allowed to just go off the cuff, off script, and do something special for each person before I made a buffoon of myself, you would have gotten more than just our love and appreciation. But now the shackles are on.
Well, it's only because that you met someone that you made fun of on Patreon once, and then after that, you were gun shy about saying things about your dead relatives.
Yes, and it might have even come down from on high that perhaps I should dial that back a bit. So, thank you, both of you. But to the rest of you out there listening, we are mere cents away from just a couple coppers away from what Rob had decided was our next stretch goal.
I think we both decided this, mister. That is the DZTV, 50 cents away, people. 50 cents. We've been short. But we made this stretch goal, and I think it literally says in the stretch goal, we're never going to make to this stretch goal. So, thank you for getting us this close.
So, what will that be like for those who are there with their purses open and their fingers, just stroking the metal of change?
It is a live Deadzone television show. It's going to be on the Facebooks. I mean, not Facebooks. Why did I say that? YouTubes. We did do a sample episode probably almost a year ago now. And it was fun, but this will be monthly. We'll be doing this Deadzone TV.
A live stream of sorts. That's what all the kids are doing now. Podcasting is dead. It's now going to be streaming. Everything's streaming.
Yep,
so.
No content, just us screwing around. You can also see us screwing around, showing off all of our miniatures, and Jack showing in that video what Deadzone Television is going to be all about. So go check that one out too on our YouTube. But yes, 50 cents. We're almost there. And then we have to think of a new stretch goal, and I think it's going to be buy me a quiet keyboard. And what else? We're not sure yet. We'll have to see if we actually make this 50 cents, which I don't think we'll ever do. We'll have to see what the next level will be. And we have some other shout outs. First of all, we have to shout out Rick Hall. He's got his own YouTube channel now with his kids, and they do play Deadzone on that. So please, the link is in the show notes. Please go to Rick Hall's YouTube channel and subscribe. You need some more subscribers. And it's great to see him playing with his kids. They're quite young. I don't know their exact ages, but young enough to be influenced by your opinions. So
yes, the official name of the YouTube channel is.
Oh, now you have to make me click on links and stuff to find it.
I think it's Hall Family Games and Stuff.
No, that's what you wanted, but I said Hall of Justice. And so I'm guessing that I didn't double check.
Hall of Justice would have been good.
But he must have went with that one.
Is that trademarked though?
He was toying with the one you said, but I said Hall of Justice.
Well, I think he went with Hall of Justice, and then Warner Brothers stepped in and stomped him down. So it is Hall Family Games and Stuff. He's got 19 subscribers right now. Come subscribe. Be like us. Join the group.
One of us.
Because, he just has some fun stuff on there with his family. And I think his kids get a kick out of it when they get some more subscribers. And our next shout-out is to a young tyke who painted up a tunneler a while ago. And this is how long we've had this news, since it was before Adepticon that we were going to have this, but Adepticon screwed us all up for this episode. That's why it's coming out the same month as 2 other episodes. But this young tyke is named Andrew Coach Jashin. He made a tunneler, and it was shown off. He did have it at. He never brought it to Adepticon. Oh, it's because it's he painted it for Ewok's army. That's right.
Yeah.
So he also forgot it in the car.
Oh, really?
That's why he didn't put it.
Ewok never used it in his army.
No, he. Are you talking about Coach's tunneler?
Well, it's Ewok's tunneler, but it's Coach painted it for him.
Yeah, I thought he was going to put it in the Rush of Death.
Oh, he never did.
Yeah.
It's airbrushed. It's red and it's Iron Man colors. It's red and gold, and once again, it's back into the what did you call it, Jack? The DC universe where it's all grim and grimy.
But it is good that it didn't make it into the Brush for Death, because that's a lot of work and effort. And apparently, wet blending a canopy on a half painted Strider is the way to go for that kind of thing.
Ouch. Jack's not bitter. That's all I'm saying.
And back to Coach's, yes.
And he did a lot of rust effects on the blades and stuff. It's really cool looking.
And if I could just interject about the construction of said model. Now, I built mine, and I liked the way it looked a certain way with the angled bits that hold the drills on the front. And I built it, glued it all together. I liked the way the drills sat for my aesthetic. Then on Tyler's channel, his YouTube channel, he built one and he showed it with those angled bits. They're reversible. They can go the other way. And rather than going, I'm not even going to pay attention to why he did it that way and see that it's the better option. I looked and I saw, and now I know and I understand that sometimes you can think you got to build the model one way, but when you see it another way, a better way, you just kind of just go, see, that's so. My tunneler, the drills don't clasp together like this one here does, or the one that Tyler built.
I think that it's all good. Let each person build whatever they want, Jack. Yours is fine too.
It is fine, and I'm going to reward myself with a little chorizo here. So just let me just.
You think he's kidding people? This guy. You're so professional. It hurts. No, really, it hurts. Our next person is Ben Wright. He painted up a warlord, a marauder. Is this the official miniature for it? It looks
yeah.
It's old model though, isn't it? They don't even actually make this thing anymore, do they?
I don't think they do.
He's got the big claws and a big some kind of pistol like thing in his hand. And he is a marauder. I put this in here because I want to show that we do show marauders off, people. We may think they're horrible, and we may think they're just the worst thing that was ever invented, but see, we do have some marauder love in here.
The Marauder Warlord is probably one of the meanest looking models out there.
It is it's pretty aggressive with his his look and his mouth open. It reminded me of a Dreadball model. That's why I was curious. I didn't know if it was a modification of a Dreadball model. It's this
is all metal too.
And this was before Dreadball, wasn't it?
This is the original. I think this comes out of the original Marauder.
Yeah,
the Marauder set from the first version of Warpath.
Yeah, hard to find these guys.
And what is it on the ground on the base? Is that a severed head he's got laying there?
Yeah, no, it looks like
I think it's like an Orkling or something.
Yeah, it's like a goblin head or something.
It's something going on, something gruesome. But also, look at the back, the cable that goes up to the big claw that's on the raised arm. He's got the alternating red and blue colors. Doesn't that look like a jump rope from gym class circa 1980?
Jack, you just made a reference that no one will ever get.
I got it.
Well, yeah.
No one does skip rope in gym anymore?
I don't think so.
Well, this Warlord is, he double dutches, that's why.
That's good. And then the next one we have is Hagee Kovacs has done some mods on some. These are actually the Grogan's from the Dreadball Convicts team. And he modded him up to make his own versions of Desolator and an Onslaught cannon, I believe. And the one's that's got a giant rocket on top of his gun, which I think is hilarious. I do love modifications. That's why I do love seeing people modding up either Dreadball guys or putting new weapons on guys. And these look pretty awesome. Because Grogans are cool, but Grogans with crazy weapons are cooler.
Those are crazy. There's no doubt about that. Look at that. I want to see them painted.
Yes. Yes, Haggy, if you're around, show us some painted ones. And next is amazing. It's by Adam Dodge. This is an amazing painted version of the Terminator. Is that his name? The Orc Terminator? Or Ogre Terminator. Sorry, not Orc. And
yeah, I was going to say, he's
a merc.
Yeah.
And he even spray painted the building with his name on it, which I think is quite good. But yeah, this thing's great. Real good detail with the creepiest model with just one eye showing. Like,
yeah,
this model's creepy as hell, and he did a nice beat up look on him. I really like this one. And he did it.
I love this model.
Yeah, the tattoo that Adam put on the one arm, where it's all colorful and stuff, offsets the evilness of him. He obviously likes to have a nice colored tattoo on his arm.
I love that paint job. Generally, I'm not a fan of the yellow-black looks industrial, but this, maybe it's the model that really just requires, or that really elevates that kind of thing, but I love this paint job.
Yeah, I think it's really well done. And he's shown his artistic ability, not just with his tagging of the building, but with that tattoo. It's I like the added color. Tattoos are so hard to do on models, where it's just to make them look like they're not a mistake almost. So I like that a lot.
Well, he obviously did a good job on the graffiti, because Rob, a fun fact, Rob cannot read graffiti. He's admitted that on our trips through the United States many times, he does not understand a single thing he sees on most of the buildings and across any train that goes by. So that's good. The fact that he could read that was
yeah, it's still legible, but
yeah,
that's good. That might disqualify him for the true graffiti artist, but if I can see it, I'm very happy. And next we have Steve Perry Terrain, who's Pensy Poo, who's also Death Ray Designs, I believe, from England. He had a bunch of terrain, the we were talking about earlier, the Battle Zone / Terrain Crate terrain, that he used in really interesting ways. That's why I like this. He did some really crazy stuff. We can see the first couple pictures are the build videos of it, unpainted, where you can actually see where everything's going. And he put things together in ways that are odd and structurally unsound, but look really cool and look fun to play on. So,
wow, yeah, there's no way there's a safety inspection going on some of these towers and stuff. The big platform that's perched up there, but man, is that ever nice with there's like some long hallway, like walkways, stairs, stuff. Like there's a whole lot going on.
Yep, and then he did his painted version, which is the yellow industrial that Jack hates, but yet looks really, really used and beat up. I think it's a really nice paint job on these guys. And it goes all together. This is a whole board worth of stuff. He kind of broke the rules that we were saying earlier about building big buildings, but he did it in ways that you can still play on. Because like Jack said, it's big, long hallways, and you can get into everywhere.
Well, we were discussing getting started. This is not the amount of train crate of someone who's getting started.
Oh no, this is about 5 or 6 different sets put together here.
Yeah, this is someone who's been playing a bit.
Yeah, I thought it was an amazing work, and the destroyed, lived in the way we like it, not shiny world. And he did it really good. Like all the distressing on the plates, like that very last picture which has the sniper on it. You can see underneath him all the distressing that he did. It looks really nice. I don't know if he used that salt and hairspray technique, or just really, really good with airbrush, which is probably both true. But
it looks like chipping medium.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. Nice. So that brings us to our stuff. Either of you guys done anything?
No.
Me, I've started working on some Vanguard stuff, but nothing for Deadzone.
Vanguard. That's not this show. Go on Countercharge.
It's almost Deadzone.
It's Deadzone on a world that has no technology.
But magic.
But there's magic.
One man's magic is another man's technology, right?
That's deep. Let's all just think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's some 420 type thinking going on right now.
It's 420 today.
Yes, the day we're recording it.
That's why I brought it up.
But I did some stuff. Just stuff that I've talked about before, but I don't think I've ever shown off. First is I painted up the Chinese mech that I got that I'm going to use for a stunt bot. And I did it in like the most gaudiest green I could find. And I had some stickers for hazard tape. So I put that on him. So he's pretty much emerald green, splotchy emerald green with dirty hazard stripes and gunmetal all over him. And yeah, so when I ever do a stunt bot list, I will use this guy. And good old China. He's good to go.
That's what you should call him, China.
That's his name. That mech's name is China.
But it has to be what's it called?
An acronym?
An acronym. That's right.
Like C.H.I.N.A.
Yes.
That's gonna. I'll get back to you on what that's gonna be. Hey, the show notes in either on YouTube in the comments or over on Facebook, any of the posts. Please tell us what China stands for. In the mech sense, not for the moral sense of what China stands for.
Canadian housed in new armor.
Ooh.
There you go. That's one entry. Next, I did a Blaine. I just want to show this one because he's all painted in Tamiya paints, and I wanted to show off just what you can do with just layering on Tamiya paints. Because it's Blaine. And Blaine is the model that you don't play in the game, so you might as well just have some fun with him. And then I show off my G.I. Joe lists. I painted up a bunch of G.I. Joes for Adepticon to play against Rick Hall. And I do have Snake Eyes and Timber. And these are all Infinity models, by the way, from the US Ariadne set, I believe. And you can see all the Joes. And then the very last thing is a gun I had to construct the day before Adepticon because I realized my points didn't equal out enough to actually play the game. So, yeah, it was a quick and rough build, but there you go. G.I. Joe.
Yes.
Mantic.
And I think if anyone saw any of the pictures taken from Adepticon, the G.I. Joe versus Cobra, it was worthwhile. The two of you worked feverishly. And I mean, like, with a week before, I was getting picture updates. Rick was putting stuff up, and I'm just like, oh my god, he had dreadnoughts coming out. Like it was worth it for a once in a lifetime, Adepticon kind of situation. A job well done, both of you.
Yep, and it just makes me want Mantic to get the G.I. Joe license even more. So after Hellboy, I think G.I. Joe is the one they should go after. You heard me, Ronnie.
Listen to Rob, Hasbro.
Well, the only thing that Hasbro's ever licensed is My Little Pony, and that was for RPG for Malesio's company.
Yeah.
Who's playing music?
Hello, I'm just calling.
You said the magic word. You said My Little Pony, and music just pops up.
Is that what it is? Oh, that makes sense. And the last thing we want to mention in this whole episode before we wrap this thing up is that we have a contest. And this contest is thanks to Community Pat, because Pat is the one who provided the prize support for this game, or for this podcast, from Mantic, I guess, technically, but really, they wouldn't have given us anything. It was all Pat. And we have 2 prizes for our Patreon members and 1 prize for general listeners, so there's just a little incentive to join the Patreon. You get a better chance of winning one of these, and you'll want to, because Pat, what do we have to give away?
A date night with Jack and myself.
Oh, that's the next Patreon.
In Dayton, Ohio.
It'll be amazing.
Is it Dayton because that's pretty much halfway between you two? Is that what it is?
It was the first thing that popped in my head.
I've been to Dayton plenty of times. It's not
the romantic capital of the world. They
do enjoy their shandies there, though.
When me and Jack rolled in, it's the most romantic spot ever.
Yeah, it's
And if you win that contest, you'll be the most romanticized person in the most romantic place ever.
right. We're gonna treat you like two dogs eating spaghetti. We'll start massaging one from each end, and we'll meet in the middle. It'll be amazing.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just disappointed in both of you. And
that's how is that not a prize to win?
that's your own. You guys start your own podcast and have that as your prize.
Okay. So, Rob, since clearly this has gone off the rails, you trusted the wrong two people to smoothly transition into what should be an official contest.
Your official contest prize will be a GCPS Hornet.
That's correct. Hornets, people. We got Hornets. There's a box of Hornets sitting next to me. Yes, so there's 2 to be won for Patreon members and 1 to be won with a general listener. And I must say, these contests, you have a good chance of winning because a lot of people don't enter them. And all you have to do, email deadzonepodcast@gmail.com and with the subject Hornets. And in the body of the letter, let's tell us your favorite segment of the show because I'm curious to see what people would say. And if you have no favorite segment of the show, make one up. You could say the end. That's all you have to say.
Ooh.
Oh,
That'd be hurtful.
And you might win still, because we're fair that way.
in that email, you can even just say that you would rather have the date night.
Yes, if you choose date night, you have to make arrangements with Pat and Jack. Of course, you have to pay their way. That's not part of the prize. The prize is just them at the thing. You have to get them there, though. So.
Yes, that's the disclaimer at the bottom of the
that's the small
of the prize.
That's right. So Rob, how long is this contest going to go on?
Oh, Jack, yes, it's a good idea because last time we just say these contests and we forget to actually say when they're going to end or how this works. Let us say this contest will go on until June 1st. How's that sound?
Okay, so as long as you're a Patreon member for the length of that time and you enter as the Patreon person.
See,
okay,
that's the way to plan these prizes as we talk.
So can we get together again when we're the Patreon winner? Is it going to be a roll of the dice? Can we do that like live on a stream?
Well, that's a good
Get some
idea.
people together.
We'll do both. Yeah, we could do both.
Make
live.
it an event.
What we need is one of those ball machines that you roll around and they pop out a ball with a number on
A bingo dispenser.
them. So the winner is
G4.
Yeah.
But you got to get your own ping pong balls and write the names on them.
Yeah, we have to get some fancy ping ball machine. Or maybe there's a virtual one we can use.
If Rob hadn't been banned from the ball pit at McDonald's, we'd have been able to figure something out. But that's one lawsuit that just does not go away.
Yep. You pee in one ball pit and they ban you for life. Who knew? Well, I guess everyone knew. It's probably on the sign right out front.
I would think so. It's probably common knowledge. But anyways, that's the contest in a concise, well-crafted package.
Yep, and everybody can understand what we're saying. It's email, deadzonepodcast@gmail.com, subject Hornets, and tell us your favorite segment of the show. And for Patreon, just join our Patreon and be a Patreon member by the end of beginning of June 1st, and we'll make a list and check it twice. We'll find out that you're all nice because there's no naughty people in the Patreon, right, guys?
No, God, no.
I think that wraps it up. Please do go to cafepress.ca/deadzonepodcast for merch. Buy merch, be lit. And also go to Patreon and enter that contest. Or just generally support our show. Because we do this out of the kindness of our hearts and make very little money on this. I would say no money on this.
But we still would anyways, because we love you all.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening.
And any parting words of wisdom, Pat?
No.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for joining us anyways. You've been a delight. This show has been magic. This show has been magic from start to finish.
I think
Thank
it
you,
was,
sir.
probably the smoothest show we've ever produced. And that's all because of you, Pat.
Thank you.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
I appreciate the fact that I appreciate the sarcasm.
Oh. Well, at least you didn't eat a sausage halfway through the show.
Don't tempt me. It's staring me right in the face.
Well, we better stop this so Jack can eat his sausage.
It's true. I gotta say, just blame raccoons.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you for listening to the Deadzone Podcast. I have been your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen. Visit the website, deadzonegame.podbean.com. Email your hosts at deadzonepodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can follow the show at Deadzone Podcast. The Deadzone Podcast is a production of Vinland Old Time Radio Productions.
Ugh. Itchy eye. I got an itchy eye.
Well, that is the name of your full-length spoken word album, so that's appropriate.
It's actually called Itchy Eye. I got an itchy eye.
Itchy eye, I've got an itchy eye.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you get a look at that yet?
Whoops.
Hello?
I think someone's trying to break into my house.
Excellent.
Be right back.
Okay.
Keep the recording in case I get assaulted.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep this for the evidence.
Evidentiary purposes. It is 9:15 on Friday,
Well, it's
April 20th.
8:15 in Chicago.
Oh, 8:15 Chicago, just in case it's not a pizza he forgot he ordered. Well,
That doesn't sound like Pat. He's dead. He has alarm dogs, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. But having met those dogs a few times, right now the burglar is patting their bellies and scratching them behind the ears.
As he murders Pat.
Okay, good news. It was just a raccoon.
Yay!
Just a raccoon breaking into your house.
He did throw up some gang signals.
And he did have a clock, so.
It made me feel a little bit nervous.
The raccoon rang your doorbell? They're very polite raccoons. Usually, the ones here don't even knock.
Well, he knows he doesn't have opposable thumbs, so he can't turn the knob, so he needs me to open the door.
Ah.
So he was dressed like perhaps a door-to-door salesman or something.
Yeah,
so
he was
just you in
like the electricity guy. I need to check your meter.
Yeah. So do you own your water heater?
And you're like, hey, you're a raccoon. He's like, no, I'm not.
Steve Perry from Journey plays.
Yes.
Should have been gone.
Jesus.
Knowing how, baby, you should have been gone.